KMAC is a proud corporate partner of Texas Tech Athletics. Today, it's Texas Tech and Kansas. And now, with all the pregame analysis from the best, this is KMAC Red Raider Nation's Countdown to Kickoff, sponsored by Terry County Tractor.
Good morning and welcome into Red Raider Nation's Countdown to Kickoff. David Collier alongside Eric Kelly this morning, getting you ready for Texas Tech's regular season finale against the Kansas Jayhawks, which kicks off in about 30 minutes, but they'll kick off without head coach Matt Wells.
Yeah, no head coach Matt Wells, so you got Keith Patterson filling in, doing double duty as the head coach and the defensive coordinator. The hope and assumption is if there's one team in the Big 12 you can
do that
have that and survive, it's the Kansas Jayhawks.
And if you're just wondering what the heck happened to Coach Wells, if you missed it earlier this week, he tested positive for COVID-19, had another test on Friday. It was positive again, so he wasn't cleared to coach. As you mentioned, Keith Patterson will be taking over those duties. Coming up in the next half hour, we'll talk much more about the actual game. This Kansas offense looks a lot different than it did a year ago in Lawrence. We'll hear what interim head coach Keith Patterson thinks about the Jayhawks without running back Puka Williams.
We forgot to change the lower thirds. Also ahead, our friends in Kansas City join us with a breakdown of this season's Kansas Jayhawk team.
And later we break down the game like only we can with the regular season finale of board games.
Oh, we're going to hold a Viking funeral for that one. Okay, Texas Tech obviously trying to end its season with a win. That'd be good coming off that loss to OSU last week. But Matt Wells actually left that game happy despite the scoreboard final with how his team closed. Red Raiders were down as much as 19th in the fourth quarter against the Cowboys, some because of their own fault. But were able to hit some deep shots and force an OSU turnover to give themselves a chance to win late on the road against the top 25 team.
We continue to fight, and the thing I was the biggest, most proud of is nobody on that sideline ever thought we were out of it. We continue to play to win, coach to win, but we came here to win the game. We came to play aggressive and try to call an aggressive game and play to win, and we came up short. That's not what this program's going to be about, but the effort and the intensity and the vibe all the way through is what we will be about.
The Texas Tech defense had its worst outing of the season against the run. The scary part is Chuba Hubbard wasn't there, right?
Nope.
L.D. Moore, or Brown, rather.
Neither were there.
Neither were there, both out for the game. Instead, the little-used Desmond Jackson was able to run all over the Texas Tech defense. The junior had a career record of, 135 rushing yards entering the game. He had 235 and 3 touchdowns when this one finished.
We had a plan. I kind of thought the game could go one of two directions. I thought they'd either try to spread us out and throw it, or I thought they're going to load up with 12 personnel, which is what they did. It's just a matter of, hey, you got to give them credit. They were physical, back ran hard. It wasn't like there was a bunch of missed run fits or missed tackles. Kid was running hard. They did a nice job blocking. You got to give your, credit to where it's due. And Oklahoma State played hard, and just we had to struggle.
Now, David, in terms of the Kansas running game, it's another opponent who doesn't have the guy who coming into 2020 you would have assumed would have been the leader in that backfield. It's a Jayhawk team that won't have one of its most dynamic weapons. And Puka Williams Jr. opted out of the season after playing just 4 games. Still the second leading rusher on the team, which I think doesn't reflect great on the running back quality there. But there have been some guys who've kind of stepped up. You got Velton Gardner, the current leading rusher amongst this KU running back group. And then most recently, Amari Pisek-Hickson coming off his best game in Lawrence of his freshman season with 100 yards against TCU.
I think any time, when you're at a Power 5 conference school, yeah, there's great players, and obviously Puka's a great player. But there's probably a great player, 1 or 2 behind him as well. You saw that evident the other day. So the fall off is not as drastic, especially when you've been in a program and recruited at places like that for as long as they have. And you look at Kansas. They've got 2 guys that are just running hard. Both their backs, they run hard, they run physical.
No Puka at running back, no Carter Stanley at quarterback like last season there in Lawrence. Jayhawks really still trying to decide on a quarterback. Jalen Daniels starting most of the season, leads the team with 718 passing yards. but he's only thrown 1 touchdown pass.
And pictured.
Yep, and 4 interceptions. He was benched, actually, in the second half last week in favor of Miles Kendrick, who leads the team with 6 touchdown passes this season. Also has 5 interceptions, though.
You game plan the personnel, yes. Then you game plan how they call a game and what they're good at and what you need to take away and what the play caller does, all that. I think the quarterback, that factors into it a little bit, but it's basically you're preparing for Kansas's offense and what they've done.
It is a game about matchups, so personnel is important, but you have to be sound fundamentally in being able to get deployed and lined up and make sure that you're sound. And if you do that, it takes care of most problems.
All right, time for a break here on Countdown to Kickoff. Coming up, we hear from Matt Wells on the upcoming decision for some of his Red Raiders following Senior Day.
And later, we look back at a game that could still be in the minds of this Texas Tech football team.